Oh, I was on mute. Good evening, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everyone enjoyed their celebrations or just took some downtime to unwind or caught up on some chores on this holiday. However, you spent your holiday, I hope it was enjoyed and a happy time. Um, so I'm going to assume we are all at this point going to pop open our belt buckle and undo the button and let the belly pop out because the way this meal was today, um, what is having me in that kind of, um, I can feel the food in my stomach calling me to lay in the bed and watch Netflix. So I'm in that kind of feeling. So I'm assuming this is going to be a chill wind down before bed. Um, and it's a quick stream, 30 minutes max. I do want to say I'm very sick and my voice feels hoarse. Hopefully, it's not annoying throughout the stream or noticeable. But yeah. So I was interested in. Oh, I didn't choose to be with y'all. What happened was I have no family or friends in the immediate area to celebrate with. You know what? I'm gonna just say I chose to be with y'all. Let's just say that. Um much less. That sounds much less bad. I chose to be with you guys on this holiday. Yep, that's what happened. I didn't have a Thanksgiving dinner, but I decided to just overeat regular food to make up for the lack of actual like turkey and cranberry sauce and cone bread, as the southern fried rice people say. Um, yeah, so I just decided to overeat instead to make up for a lack of that. Now, before we get into the main topic of the video, um, this literally just popped up in my feed, and I guess we're gonna watch it together. This could be our icebreaker. No, don't take it back. No, don't do that. Nar. Have y'all seen this man? Is this man familiar to anyone? Going once, going twice. Nothing but nice things. Nothing but nice things. Oh, by the way, I have a poll in the chat. In case you were not aware, I do have a poll in the chat. Please do vote on that poll because I am quite curious. The question of the day is, when a man says he has 2 degrees, what do you assume? Your options are he has 2 bachelors, he has 2 masters, he has a bachelor's and a master's, he has an associate's and a bachelor's. I know the poll does not have enough options. They only allow me 4. I could, I think they let you do a question. I just didn't think y'all wanted to type, but I'll do a question too. When a man says he has 2 degrees, what comes to mind? So if you don't see your option on that poll, you could just pick the best option, or you can type in the Q&A. I think you should be able to type in a full answer. But yeah, like I wanted to put in associates and an associates and associates and a master's. Um, a That's all I got actually. a, a bachelor's and a master's in the same field or in a different field, or there were a lot of options that I would have liked to put, but I couldn't. So it just is what it is. It is what it is. That's a stretch. Diploma and certificate. I didn't even think about that. And that's the purpose of the question though, is we're kind of trying to see what comes to people. What's the implicit thing that comes to mind? Wait, can you guys actually type in the question or no? I thought it allowed you to click on it and say something. Wait, the bar is too high. So y'all were when someone says, okay, instead of a man saying he has 2 degrees, let's say a person says they have 2 degrees. But that does, if there has to be a distinction between man and people generally, or women, that does in that distinction seems to be made because y'all believe when a man says he has 2 degrees, the options we're starting with, which is in associates and bachelors at the lowest, is too high, and we need to go to GED and high school diploma or HVAC certification. This does tell me something actually about, no, I can't say it tells me something about men. I'll just say it tells me something maybe about your personal experiences with men, or or something about, I don't know, how men present themselves in society broadly. Started the bar too high. But let me see. I don't see anybody typing in that question. I don't think you can actually type in there. Let me go ahead and get some timestamps together, since we done spent 6 minutes trying to figure out technology, so the people rewatching don't have to go through this. 2 associate's degrees. Okay, we'll get back to the poll. I'll give y'all time to answer the question. And yeah. Oh, what do you think they have degrees in if they say they have 2? Tell me about men, y'all. Tell me something. Learn me something. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and watch this man, and we're going to see what he has to say for 1 minute and 9 seconds, because he has something to say to young men. He has a concern, and I'm watching an ad. Oh, hold up. I'm so sorry. There shouldn't be ads on the video. I do apologize. Okay, I think they should be off now. Okay, so ads should be off now. If you were getting ads, please refresh your page. That should reset it. I think if you don't refresh, then the ads continue to play, but they should be off now. Apologies. Welcome everyone who's late. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope your bellies are full. Hope the only thing heavy today was not political discussion at the dinner table, but rather the plate. Hope the only thing heavy was the plate. Now let's see what this man has to say.
On the left is that women aren't interested in mating with, something we don't acknowledge on the left is that women aren't interested in mating with men who aren't economically viable. And
let's pause already. The word mating and the words economically viable feel very manosphere-ish to me. And this could be a bias, and I acknowledge that. Like, this could be my own bias, and I do want to account for that before making a judgment of this man. But referring to, well, we're having a conversation about relationships, and mating is something that comes to mind. This feels very pseudoscience-y. Well, he hasn't said anything regarding pseudoscience, but I think people who say this tend to be, God, we only 5 seconds in his video. Oh no, it's gonna be one of them streams. I think typically of people who like believe that men can be alpha wolves and that you can't be a beta wolf, when the actual alpha and beta male study was like on animals and does not apply to human or something like that. Like, I think when people use certain language, it tells me that they may possibly rely on pseudoscience regarding biology and how much they believe it affects men or women. And that gives me some pause, but I'll restart it and let it play a little bit.
Something we don't acknowledge on the left is that women aren't interested in mating with men who aren't economically viable.
But why do we hate those women? Because when it was reversed, when it was more men graduating from college, you didn't see women lining up to hate them. And now those young men look at those women, those successful women, and they look at them with anger, with fury. Where explain this one to me.
So you're absolutely right. And when these men get isolated, they are more prone to misogynistic content. They're less likely to believe in climate change. They're more prone to the conspiracy theory. The guy who attacked Salman Rushdie, that wasn't about a fatwa. That was about a young man living in his mother's basement. What I would argue, though, and I get pushback from feminists on this, that I want to be clear, no one has an obligation to service men who aren't having sex.
I was on mute. I want to be clear. I'm not saying women should be. Sorry, I went on mute to cough, which I will do a lot because I am sick, actually. I'm not saying women should be forced to have sex. That's not what I'm saying. Now let's see if he goes on to say that women should have sex.
Though, and I get pushback from feminists on this, that I want to be clear, no one has an obligation to service men who aren't having sex. What I would say, though, is unless we make an investment in young people such that they're economically viable and they can establish relationships, and part of that is discipline around not watching a lot of porn, getting a job, going to school, taking responsibility for your own life. But without a viable class of young men who are doing well, no group has fallen further faster in our nation than young men.
Okay, well, that was interesting. Did he actually answer the question? I don't think so. No group has fallen faster than men. Well, when we're talking about groups and how fast they fall, I'm thinking in the context of men, and maybe I'm like interpreting his words incorrectly, but in this conversation, there are only two groups, men and women. And the reason no other group has fallen faster and harder than men would be because there is no pedestal for women to fall off of as far as like privilege or advantage based on gender in the socioeconomic world based on them being a woman. So his framing seems odd because he doesn't say it overtly, but it feels like there's a sort of, while I view it as men have been privileged in society, there is a strong bias in favor of men in the workplace to the point where I believe men who are mediocre or average are competing with women who are very educated, experienced in their field, and very profitable for the company. But these women are being passed over for promotion, passed over for a raise. They're being ignored by, what are they called? Recruiters, and favor again of mediocre men based on them being a woman. Like I think in the workplace, assertive behavior, confident behavior, for example, might be viewed positively from a man, but from a woman, if she again shows that confident, assertive behavior, instead of positivity, I think we're going to get TikTok think pieces about how I just don't like working under women because they're always so aggressive and micromanagey, and I just feel better working under a man. I don't know. I feel like women doing the same thing in the workplace as men causes disdain and dissatisfaction for a lot of people for some reason. And so when there's a pedestal that men sit on, yes, you can say they're falling fast. I disagree with the fast part, but we're falling to what I would assume would be equal footing. Like we should be speaking about this positively. We should be getting rid of bias in the workplace that benefits someone because of their gender or disadvantages someone because of their gender. But instead he frames it like men are failing and we as society has to do something about this. And it also feels weird because he brings sex into the conversation unprompted. And he, in my mind, attempts to disarm critique by saying, I'm not saying women should be forced to have sex with or service these men. All I'm saying is that lonely men, they're dangerous. You don't want them to do something, do you? We have to do something. Like that seems to be his approach. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. I'm not going to spend too much time on this topic. Let me see. The women were very upset in the comments. This woman said, I grew up and worked hard to get a master's. I had no interest in a man who I would have to support, so I married one who matched my energy. That's interesting. That seems to regarding I had no interest in a man who I had to support. I saw another one of his videos today, and it had to do with he was saying women who make more money than the man are more likely to divorce. He has a lot of content, it seems, based on my review of how he titles stuff and the thumbnails he used. It seems very manosphere-ish, but he was making a video about how women who earn more money were more likely to divorce. And he briefly mentions the statistic, but I remember going to look at, he didn't cite anything, so I had to go and search for it. That's another issue. He doesn't cite stuff generally. The research that I found seemed to indicate that women who out earn their partner, when they start out earning their partner, or if they start the relationship with someone, a man who makes less than them, those women do more household chores, do more domestic labor, do more childcare than women who are egalitarian or make less than their man. And that seems like, it seems like he's trying to say women don't want low earning men and women date up or something manosphere-ish, when the research seemed to indicate that the reason they were dissatisfied in the marriage was because not only are they paying most of or all the bills, but they're also doing most of or all the housework, and they start doing more housework and more housework and more childcare when they out earn the man, which is like the kind of the direct opposite of what you would expect. So if he's just sitting on the couch, this is a problem, right? This is more than just women want to date high, and that's a problem, and we need to do something about young men. This is like the something we need to do would be improving the quality of men, right? As opposed to like implying that women should service men sexually, which was weird. Happy Harvest Day. Happy, oh, there's a, oh, you said a skill issue. I thought that it said a sound issue. I thought I was giving ghetto. His framing is odd. He tries to garner sympathy for men using dehumanizing language in his position of men and juxtaposition to women. I have a feeling he thinks that women are privileged in society and men are not, even in the administration that we have right now. And I don't know where he got that from, because I ain't never seen a man in court over a bodily autonomy based on his gender. Never. Okay, now let's get to the actual topic. So the internet is dragging this woman on TikTok. I'll put her on the screen. Oh, or maybe I won't. Oh, there we go. TikTok is, excuse me, the internet is dragging this woman on TikTok. And she asked, in my opinion, a simple question. When a man says he has 2 degrees, what do you assume? And now TikTok is stitching her and having conversation about devaluing degrees and certification and elitism. And I'm very confused about why the internet is having that conversation based on her question and video. So we're going to try to follow along by watching her videos and some responses to it, and we're going to make our own decision about how we feel about what she says. Does that sound good? I'm here for my gumbo and petty lie. Yep, go ahead, lay on the bed, sit on the couch. The plate should be in the fridge by now. Are we still eating at this point? I thought dinner was gonna be over at this one. I was trying to schedule it so y'all wouldn't have to listen to me at the dinner table. I don't want to interrupt anything. It's okay. Take the plate to your room. Sit on the bed. Lay down. Let's have a relaxed stream. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and look at this poll and see how y'all voted, and then we're gonna get into the video and see what she says. So I asked, when a man says he has 2 degrees, what do you assume? 5% of you said 2 bachelors. 10% of you said 2 masters. 50% of you said a bachelor's and a master's. 35% of you said an associate's and a bachelor's. Now, I should have said person because in case you missed it, I feel like some of your votes may have taken into account that the person we're asking about the 2 degrees is a man, and that may have biased. That may have, I didn't realize, but that may have added bias, like societally, when the type of education men have might actually differ from women. So I should have said person. So let's go to the Q&A. When a man says he has 2 degrees, what comes to mind? Wake Up Makeup Slay said, I started the bar too high. Why did you delete your comment, Ronell? Did you delete it? I was reading it and deciding if I was going to say it out loud, and then it just disappeared. Live in your truth. His degrees mean nothing. It won't keep him warm at night. Period. I love that for him. Okay, let's go ahead and actually get into the video.
Someone said they have 2 degrees, that they have 1 degree and they're working on a second. What degrees do they have? Because I posted this on Threads and the girls are upset with me. 1, because they clearly are insecure about their education level. And 2, because connotation and definition will perpetually evade y'all. A man unsolicitedly came to me and was flexing about having a house, having a this, having a that, having it all together. And he said, I have 1 degree, I'm working on a second. And so my frame of reference, right? I go, oh, what is your master's in? What are you getting your master's in? He says, no, it's not my master's, it's my bachelor's. And I said, oh, okay, well, congratulations, 1 more semester, whoop, whoop, whoop. What was your first degree in? He says, it was my associate's in business. And I said, oh. And I had to pause because 1, I had never heard someone talk about going from an associate's to a bachelor's as 2 separate degrees. And 2, it just felt intentionally deceptive because this is like a 30-something-year-old man talking about, we know what the connotation of saying I have multiple degrees is, and it's very rarely an associate's. But I was willing to be like, maybe that's my frame of reference. So I went on Threads, and this is exactly what I posted on Threads. I'm going to read, this is exactly what I posted. And when I tell you, the comments are in there calling me an elitist, saying I'm dumb, saying well, 2 is more than 1. Yeah, girl, that's why it was in quotes, because connotation and definition will forever kick y'all's ass. And then I had posted a few days ago that the people who disparage higher education are usually the ones that are bad at it. Nothing in that text was disparaging higher education, but some people, again, because definition and connotation elude y'all, are like, oh, this is oh, how ironic. I will say there were people that genuinely answered that were like, well, I got my associates in X and then I went to Y, so I do consider it 2 different things. Or, girl, I put in that time and it kicked my butt, so I'm claiming it. And I'm like, yo, respect, because when I tell you higher education, I have a master's and a bachelor's. Master's kicked my butt. Bachelor's, I worked full time, I paid my way through. It kicked my ass. So there's nothing, I think it's an amazing accomplishment to 1, be able to suck it up, to go to class, to do the work, to 2, to stick with it for X number. I never said none of those things, but people's insecurities, hit dogs will always holler, bro. Hit dogs will always holler. Someone said they have.
Real quick before we continue to the next video, how do we feel about her initial commentary? This is what sparked a very large conversation online, and we'll look at some of the reactions to her. How do we feel about her initial commentary? Do we feel do we understand why there's controversy? Do you think she was rude? Do you think she was devaluing degrees? Do you think this is elitism? Because these are some of the accusations that were made. I personally don't feel like she said anything devaluing associate's degree or anything like that. I just think she was talking about her experience where she felt she was being deceived because she assumed a master's and I think a bachelor's and a master's when he actually had an associate's working on his bachelor's. Sounds like he was proud of his associates. Who gives a dang? This is a non-cursing channel, sir or ma'am. I don't recognize this name. Who gives a dang? He has 2 degrees, so who cares? Yes, she was devaluing his degree. I'm actually very curious. Here's the link. If you would like to come up and further explain your argument, I would actually be very interested to hear it, because that is one of the main arguments from a lot of people online. And I genuinely don't understand that perspective. So if you do want to click the link and come up, I would actually like to ask you about that. Going once. Oh, wait, let me read it again to make sure I'm just. Who gives a damn? He has 2 degrees, so who cares? Yes, she was devaluing his degree. Okay. Because she assumed. I don't think she said anything wrong. Generally speaking, we mean for a year. Some people don't count an associate's as a degree. If you're going to come up, character, if you're not going to come up, can you type a, because what if it was the other way around and he said it to her and he was in her position, what would she take it as? I don't think she would take it as disrespect. Based on her recollection of events, no, I don't think so. Or excuse me, not disrespect, devaluing. Going once. Going twice. If you're not going to come up, could you put like a no, thank you or something in the chat, and I'll just continue and we don't have to flesh it out. Going once, going twice. I said for the nth time. No, I don't come on panel, period. Okay, let's continue. Let me see. Do we want to watch a reaction first or do we want to go through all of her videos? Because I feel like the correct way to do this would be to watch this video and then watch reactions, because they're reacting to this video. And later she wants to add context and she wants to add clarity and additional info. So let's go ahead and watch some responses.
Black people haven't had a real conversation since the civil rights movement. Black people haven't had a real conversation since the civil rights movement. Y'all haven't had a real conversation / real discourse since the civil rights movement. And what I mean.
Okay, now let me pause and share my bias already. When someone repeats something 3 times, it reminds me of Dr. Umar instantly, and my brain shuts down and everything she's about to say is going to go out one ear.
Black.
Y'all not ready to hear that though. Y'all not ready to hear that though. Y'all are not ready for that conversation.
Black people haven't had a real conversation since the civil rights movement. Black people haven't had a real conversation since the civil rights movement. Y'all haven't had a real conversation / real discourse since the civil rights movement. And what I mean by that is, I don't like the current discourse around of that one girl who's like, oh yeah, this one guy told me he had 2 degrees, but then he proceeded to say, I have an associate's and a bachelor's. I don't think that means 2 degrees. Like, an associate's isn't even a real degree. Wrong.
Wait. Wait, hold on. Let me listen.
Discourse since the civil rights movement. And what I mean by that is, I don't like the current discourse around of that one girl who's like, oh yeah, this one guy told me he had 2 degrees, but then he proceeded to say, I have an associate's and a bachelor's. I don't think that means 2 degrees. Like, an associate's isn't even a real degree. Wrong.
This feels very loud and very confident in a wrong assessment. What is it called? Very loud and very wrong. That's what it is. That's the phrase, I think. Am I tripping? This in the original video, this doesn't seem like what the lady said at all. Hold up. Let me speed it up.
Someone said they have 2 degrees. Someone said they have 2 degrees, that they have 1 degree and they're working on a second. What degrees do they have? Because I posted this on Threads and the girls are upset with me. 1, because they clearly are insecure about their education level, and 2, because connotation and definition will perpetually evade y'all. A man unsolicitedly came to me and was flexing about having a house, having this, having that, having it all together. And he said, I have 1 degree and working on a second. And so me, my frame of reference, right? I go, oh, what is your master's in? What are you getting your master's in? He says, no, it's not my master's, it's my bachelor's. And I said, okay, well, congratulations, 1 more semester, whoop, whoop, whoop. What was your first degree in? He says, it was my associate's in business. And I said, oh. And I had to pause because 1, I had never heard someone talk about going from an associate's to a bachelor's as 2 separate degrees. And 2, it just felt intentionally deceptive because like this is like a 30-something-year-old man talking about, like, we know what the connotation of saying I have multiple degrees is, and it's very rarely an associate's. But I was willing to be like, maybe that's my frame of reference. So I went on Threads, and this is exactly what I posted on Threads. Like, I'm gonna read. This is exactly what I posted. And when I typed
Oh, in character, by the way, I don't think I answered the question fully earlier, but if it was the other way around, I think she would say I have an associate's working on my bachelor's. I don't think she would say I have 2 degrees. So sorry if I didn't answer your question earlier thoroughly, but it was because I wouldn't even the way that women seem to approach dating as a general matter seems different, so I couldn't visualize it the other way around. So I just wanted to explain why.
The comments are in there calling me an elitist, saying I'm dumb, saying like, well, 2 is more than 1. Yeah, girl, that's why it was in quotes, because connotation and definition will forever kick y'all's ass. And then I had posted a few days ago that the people who disparage higher education are usually the ones that are bad at it. Nothing in that text was disparaging higher education, but some people, again, because definition and connotation elude y'all, are like, oh, this is like, oh, how ironic. I will say there were people that genuinely answered that were like, well, I got my associates in X and then I went to Y, so I do consider it 2 different things. Or, girl, I put in that time and it kicked my butt. So I'm claiming it. And I'm like, yo, respect. Because when I tell you higher education, I have a master's and a bachelor's. Master's kicked my butt.
Wait, it seems like she just said some people said they have an associate's in one field and then they pursue a bachelor's in a different field. And she seemed to accept that premise. So maybe the man on the date, she doesn't say it in this video, I don't think, but maybe the man on the date had like an associate's in psychology and was pursuing a bachelor's in psychology, as opposed to like an associate's in one thing and then a bachelor's in the other. So I'm not sure if maybe that's a factor in why she felt that way about the date.
Bachelor's, I worked full time, I paid my way through, like it kicked my ass. So there's nothing, I think it's an amazing accomplishment to 1, be able to suck it up, to go to class, to do the work, to 2, to stick with it for X number. I never said none of those things, but people's insecurities, hit dogs will always holler, bro. Hit dogs will always holler.
And holler hit dogs did. Okay, now let me recap the video real quick so I can make sure we're on the same page and I didn't just misunderstand this original video. She did not shame people with associate's degrees working on their bachelor's. In fact, she praised them for putting in the hard work to go to class to achieve that. She did not say that you can't have 2 degrees if you don't have at least 2 bachelor. She did not say anything like that. She made no such restrictions or judgments on people who do not have a bachelor's or a master's. It seems like she simply asked the question, hey guys, when someone says they have 2 degrees, what assumption comes to your mind? She went on a date with a man. He said he had 2 degrees. She asked for clarification and finds out he has an associate's and he's working on a bachelor's, presumably in the same subject, which differed from her natural assumption of someone saying they have degrees, 2 degrees means. So it seems like her natural assumption was, oh, what masters are you working on? It seems like when she hears I have 2 degrees, what she hears is, or what she assumes is that person has a bachelor's and they're working on their master's. Yeah, I believe master's takes 3 to 4 years as a general matter. I don't know if there are any that take 2, but yeah, 3 to 4 years. But anyway, so she later finds out he has an associate's pursuing a bachelor's in the same subject, and that differed from her initial assumption. She didn't shame him. She did not insult his intelligence, nor did she insult his degrees, nor did she insult the value of those degrees as a general matter outside of him. She did not insinuate that his degrees were worthless. She simply asked us on TikTok, hey guys, when someone has 2 degrees, what comes to mind to you? Because for me, it means 2 or more. It seems like to her, it means 2 or more bachelor's or master's, but not an associate's. And it feels like the internet took this and dragged her. We're going to talk about, he was bragging about how big his house is and all that when he mentioned this as well, which makes me believe, it makes me So the reason she poses this question is because she feels he was intentionally misrepresenting himself as more achieved than he actually is. And her evidence is him talking about his big house and all about himself, and then mentioning he has 2 degrees as well, as a part of this sort of look at how valuable I am. And once she found out, it was not 2 degrees, excuse me, he has a degree in pursuing his 2nd degree, sorry. And when she found out he has an associate's pursuing a bachelor's, she felt deceived. Like he intentionally deceived her. So that seems, in my opinion, like I would agree that does seem deceitful given the context of the original video. The internet seems to have took this and dragged her, putting words in her mouth that she did not say, strawmanning her video, and responding to arguments that she never made. And their followers are going over to her profile to harass her over some talking points that she never stated nor implied. The crux of her video seems to be, I feel this man intentionally misled me by using societal norms as far as our assumption when someone says they're pursuing a 2nd degree. And I feel like he did this intentionally to make himself look better. She didn't say she accepts that societal norm or societal assumption. She just said it seems like he's using that societal assumption to his benefit. So a sort of plausible deniability. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Right? He says, like, I have 2 degrees. She says, oh, what field of study? He says, field of study? I never said college degree. I meant the degrees at my home on my thermostat. It has several degrees, 65 degrees, 66 degrees, and of course, 67 degrees. And when she comes online to talk about this experience and say, hey, y'all, when someone says they have 2 degrees, I think about a bachelor's pursuing a master's, and this man said, blah, 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 just to find out he meant the degrees on his thermostat. So I'm confused with the reaction to her video being people in the comments and response videos saying that she's classist or elitist, to assume that when someone says they have 2 degrees, they mean college degrees, and that she's devaluing people without bachelor or master or something like that. And we shouldn't shame people with thermostats or whatever. So let me go back to the review. Hopefully you still have this video fresh in your mind so I don't have to replay it. But yeah, her recollection, seems way off and completely wrong based on the original video. Did she continue the date? I think she continued the date. I don't remember if I don't think the date ended immediately. I'm pretty sure they just continued the date. Maybe it'll be in one of the follow-ups. At any point in the original video, oh my God, I'm not even on the right. Y'all weren't even watching it with me. So y'all just gonna let us sit in silence for 27 seconds and not say nothing?
Black people.
Sorry. So y'all was just gonna sit for 27 seconds and then start hearing me yell at the microphone. She never said she had that, without context, period. I love that for me and for y'all.
Black people haven't had a real conversation since the civil rights movement. Black people haven't had a real conversation since the civil rights movement. Y'all haven't had a real conversation / real discourse since the civil.
Oh, Lunar, he did say he had a degree and he was working on his 2nd. He didn't say he had 2 degrees. He said he had a degree and was working on his 2nd. I just keep misstating this, but he did not say I have 2 degrees and she asked what his master's was in. He said I have a degree pursuing my second and she asked what master's he's pursuing.
Rights movement. And what I mean by that is I don't like the current discourse around of that one girl who's like, oh yeah, this one guy told me he had 2 degrees, but then he proceeded to say, I have an associate's and a bachelor's. I don't think that means 2 degrees. Like an associate's isn't even a real degree.
Now, where in the original video was that said at all? She states the first, well, she doesn't, because he doesn't have 2 degrees. He has 1 degree pursuing a second. But she states that the first part correctly. She says, I watched this creator and the creator said she went on a date with a man that has 2 degrees and she found out it was an associate's instead of a bachelor's or a master's. And that's disgusting. And that's not a real degree. And I'm like, wait. Where did that part come from? Where did that part come from? Hold up. Wait.
Have an associate's and a bachelor's. One of that one girl who's like, oh yeah, this one guy told me he had 2 degrees, but then he proceeded to say, I have an associate's and a bachelor's. I don't think that means 2 degrees. Like an associate's isn't even a real degree. Wrong.
Okay. Y'all tell me, please, because this had me scratching my head and feeling like I did not watch the same video that the people reacting watched. Somebody please confirm that this is actually a direct response to the original video. It is a correct reaction and a correct recollection of the original video, and I'm just going crazy. Or please affirm me and say no, you are correct. She is not actually recollecting the original video. Recollecting, sorry, I keep saying hardy, not hardy, uppercase E, sorry, long E, whatever they call it. Not the hard E word. She made a response to be first, not to be correct. I actually want to discuss this a little bit because I feel like the response videos did not actually watch the original video, or maybe it was triggering, which anyway, sorry. Let me just let it play. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. From the original video, what I understood was that she asked, what degrees do you have? It was because he had his associates working on her degree, but meaning he didn't have 2 but 1. Okay, so are we unified as far as feeling like she's not actually responding to the original video correctly, or she's misrepresenting the original video, rather? Going once, going twice. Isn't an associate a pathway degree? Let me Google pathway degree. I don't have a degree to tell you what pathway is. I have to Google it. Pathway degree. A preparatory program. Oh, here it is. Undergraduate to graduate pathway. I don't think that's it. No, that is it. A special program for our current undergraduate students that allow them to take a limited number of graduate level courses that can count toward both their bachelor's and master's. No, I think that's something higher level than what we're thinking of. A preparatory program, often 1 year long, that helps students build the necessary academic and language skills to succeed in a degree program, mostly for international students. I don't think that we're going to find what we're looking for. I'm assuming when you say pathway degree, what you mean is this is on your way to a bachelor's. So it's not like you're taking a detour and taking separate classes. This is like you go to school for 4 years and you receive your bachelor's, or you go to school for 4 years and you receive your associate's and bachelor's, but you're not actually required to do any extra work because this was This is something that is granted to you after 2 years with no additional requirements. That's what I'm assuming you mean.
Wrong. Number one, you're classist.
Anyway, sorry.
Number two, you're elitist. Number three, you're racist. Because let me break this.
Classist, elitist, racist. Let me go ahead and write down classist, elitist, racist. Now let's go ahead and see why.
Let me break you down. Because currently what we're seeing right now is that the Black community is becoming our own oppressor because we would rather patronize each other instead of going against our oppressors.
No, this got to be trolling, because she is describing the exact behavior that she did in this video. She was patronizing the original creator. She didn't fully read the original creator's video, and feels like she's intentionally being, like, malicious is not the word, rude. I'm not sure. Like it's like I'm reading a video and watching a video, and the person in the video is talking about nobody wants to read anymore and they didn't read. No, I'm gonna just let it play.
And what I mean by that is, let me explain. The issue is, an associate's degree has always been a degree. It's just that recently, as more Black and brown people have reached higher education, white society and in turn, white supremacy has moved the goalpost to make it harder for Black and brown people to exist in this country. And there.
Agreed. What that got to do with the original video? Happy Indigenous People Day. Is that the official replacement name? Let me see. Second Monday of October. All right. I don't think hold up. I don't think that's the Happy Harvest. Happy National Family Week. Happy week, 2 week after, no, 1 week. Happy the week after International Men's Day. Okay, now Black people start obtaining education, and then white society devalues the education that Black people obtain. Agreed. What that got to do with the original video?
For conversations like this, where it's like an associate isn't a real degree, is not only
conversations like this where people say associates is not a real degree. That's wrong. Got it. Agreed. Where she said that in the real video, in the original video. This comes off like she listened to the first 5 seconds of the video where she says, I went on a, what comes to mind when y'all hear 2 degrees? Because I went on a date and he said an associates. It feels like she stopped listening immediately after that and went and made this video and made a lot of assumptions about the original creator without context. Mind you, the full context is in the original video. And even if you cut off the video early, at no point is there an implication that she devalues associate's degree. You didn't know International Men's Day passed? That's because it was the only day that men are silent. Now wait until International Women's Day, the day when men are loudest. And the other 364 days where we hear about how we never hear about men's problems, even though we're hearing about them 364 days, except for International Men's Day. Anyway, this is not a male dragging live stream. I don't know why y'all brought that out of me. That's not what we're about over here at this channel.
Harmful to not just the Black community, but as a whole. Because what you're doing right now are
harmful to the Black community as a whole. How about watching a Black woman video and you immediately go and drag her and incite all your followers to go in her comments and bully her to the point where she has to turn her comments off without even watching her full video and by putting words in her mouth that she did not say? Is that harming the Black community? Is that harming Black women? is not watching the full context of videos harming the Black community and making think pieces before we have content. Mind you, I'm not saying you need to go and watch a 5-hour live stream to get the full context of this person's view. That ain't what I'm saying at all. But like, can we watch at least 30 seconds of the original video?
You are discrediting someone else's accomplishments and entering this elitist mindset instead of taking a step back and realizing, why do I suddenly no longer consider a degree important? Let's have that conversation.
Well, you can have that conversation, but why put that talking point on the original creator? If y'all want to talk about how society does not value associate's degree as much as you think they should, and how you feel like once Black people start achieving these degrees more and more, white society decides they're not worth as much anymore and the bar is moved for Black. Like, if you want to talk about that, that's completely fine. I probably would agree with you on a lot of points there. But why are we saying this in response to the Black woman who did not say anything like that at all? And why are we being uppity and having an attitude and being cocky and confident in our wrongness when we have not watched the original video fully is what really gets me. Like, confident and wrong bothers me. It bothers me. That's why I have a problem with a lot of men. Confidence and wrongness together bother me a lot. Or completely misinterpret. Associate's degree historically had a high return on investment. I think they still do have a high return on investment. In fact, the original content creator said the same thing. She's like praising the associate's degree. When she thought he had a master's, and he said he doesn't have a master's, she said, "Oh, well, what's your bachelor's in?" And he had said associate. She was like, "Oh, that's cool. I just made an assumption when he said 2 degrees that he meant bachelor and master's." At no point did she devalue those degrees. At every point where there was a chance to praise the degrees, she did, and complimented and congratulated him, as well as the people in her comments who achieved those degrees. So I'm confused about an insane backlash that she's getting. Insane. Let's read some of the comments. Some of my most valuable college courses were in community college. I was homeless at 18 and got my GED 2 years later. I would have loved even just an associate's. The fact that people made it that far is absolutely an accomplishment. Many students sleep in their cars and go hungry just to earn that. Oh my God, I'm bored. Sorry, I couldn't make it through the comment. I didn't know we were going to be reading a book. Oh my goodness. I was just trying to get in the comments and have some fun and see what people were saying. I didn't know I was about to read somebody's life story. Oh my goodness. I'm too full. I'm too full to be reading. This is some post-activity type of comment right here. Many students sleep in their car, go hungry just to earn that dang associate's degree. What's easy for some people may be like moving mountains for other. Insane to think people would put themselves in ridiculous amount of debt for something that isn't even a degree. Cool. Got it. What does this have to do with the original video? I wish they would stop saying jobs won't take an associate degree because they actually are, and it's great pay. Cool. Who is they? Because the original creator didn't say that. Somebody need to tell FAFSA it ain't a real degree then, because they stay taking my check. Agree, actually. Wait, no, because in that case, wouldn't you get less money if they don't consider associates a real degree? FAFSA, don't listen to him. Please do consider, please do consider associates a real degree. I have an associate. It took me so long. Proud of everyone that got one. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see some other reactions.
Someone said they have 2 degrees, that they have 1 degree and they're working on a second. What degrees do they have?
Everybody needs to settle down with this discourse. A degree is a degree, right? Regardless if you have a bachelor's degree, associate degree, a master's degree, a doctorate degree, it's a degree. And with that, I say, Whenever someone tells me they have 2 degrees,
If I pay the black people at my job $1 and I pay the white people $5 and you complain about it and I say everybody has dollars. Some people have $1, some people have $2, $5. Why does it matter the value of the dollar? I feel like we're gonna have a problem. What is I don't understand. I don't understand the commentary around in this conversation right now. Like I actually do not understand. And I don't know who he's responding to because it ain't the original creator. And by the way, I looked around. I tried to see, okay, maybe someone stitched the original creator and they started talking about how associate's degree ain't nothing and how they devalue anything that's not a, like, I looked around to see, is anyone actually devaluing associate's degree in this conversation? No. This may in fact be a case of a hit dog hollering. This is maybe the first time I've seen this illustrated. No, it's not, because we cover men a lot, but and hit dogs do holler. But this is insane to me. Just popped in to say, hey, Petty. Hello, thank you for popping in. Be sure to leave a like on your way out or a dislike. Please express your opinion. Don't let it be biased towards me. If you dislike the video, that's fine. It's not visible on YouTube anymore. I think they took it off so people can't see. Everyone else also who is not leaving, please do like the video. It does help out the algorithm. Now let me go on mute and cough real quick while I play him some more.
I don't assume. I just let them tell me. Literally, I'd be like, oh, what degrees do you have? They could say they have an associate and a bachelor's degree. They could say they have a master and a bachelor's degree. And whatever the case may be, I'm like, okay, cool. I don't judge them or I don't say anything crazy to them. I feel like if you're going to judge someone for having an associate and a bachelor's degree, you really need to find you something safe to do because clearly you're not busy enough. Let's not.
I genuinely don't understand the commentary around this discourse. Did no one watch the original video? Did people just log on to TikTok one day and they see one creator says something like, why are we devaluing associate's degree? And then without doing any research or looking up what the discourse is about originally, without any of that, they just like go and make a video off of a video who someone made off of something that they lied about in the first place. Like, was there actually any research done when it comes to this conversation happening right now? Because this is actually driving me crazy. We shouldn't be devaluing anyone's accomplishments. What conversation is this?
Devalue somebody's accomplishment because we believe that it's not an accomplishment to us. It's still an accomplishment to have an associate and a bachelor's degree. I said what I said. And this is coming from someone who's pursuing his PhD degree. Okay? Thank you very much.
Someone said that.
So, again, here, let's refresh our memory.
Someone said they have 2 degrees, that they have 1 degree and they're working on a second. What degrees do they have? Because I posted this on Threads and the girls are upset with me. 1, because they clearly are insecure about their education level. And 2, because connotation and definition will perpetually like evade y'all. A man unsolicitedly came to me and was flexing about having a house, having a this, having a that, having it all together. And he said, I have 1 degree, I'm working on a second. And so me, my frame of reference, right? I go, oh, what is your master's in? What are you getting your master's in? He says, no, it's not my master's, it's my bachelor's. And I said, okay, well, congratulations, 1 more semester, whoop, whoop, whoop. What was your first degree in? He says, it was my associate's in business. And I said, oh. And I had to pause because 1, I had never heard someone talk about going from an associate's to a bachelor's as 2 separate degrees. And 2, it just felt intentionally deceptive because like this is like a 30-something-year-old man talking about, like, we know what the connotation of saying I have multiple degrees is, and it's very rarely an associate's. But I was willing to be like, maybe that's my frame of reference. So I went on Threads, and this is exactly what I posted on Threads.
Okay, so far, I went on a date. I thought because he said he was pursuing oh wait, she didn't say a date. Sorry, my apologies. This man said that. So what was this? So they just hanging out? What was this? Where was this? Not Netflix and or maybe it was on Hinge or something. I don't know. But anyway, so blah blah blah. He said he has a degree working on his second. She asked what he's working on his master's in. He says, "No, I'm working on my bachelor's." She asked what his first bachelor's was in. He says, "No, I have an associate's." And presumably he's pursuing a bachelor's in the same field. Her claim is that he was using plausible deniability to present as if he had accomplishments that he had not achieved. Oh, she said this was ill. So he just can't ill. Unsolicited bragging about I have a big house. I got to ill. My misunderstanding. I thought this was a date. That word completely slipped my ears. Anywho, so she assumed he had a master's. He said he didn't. She assumed he had a bachelor's. He said he didn't. He said he had an associate's. Her claim, he's rewind and slow down. Okay.
Someone said they have 2 degrees, that they have 1 degree and they're working on a second. What degrees do they have? Because I posted this on Threads and the girls are upset with me. 1, because they clearly are insecure about their education level. And 2, because connotation and definition will perpetually evade y'all. A man unsolicitedly came to me and was flexing about having a house, having a this, having a that, having it all together.
A man unsolicited ew. I missed that. I thought she was talking about a date. That's even worse. So he just somebody. He ain't even he ain't even a match. He not even a Tinder match. Nothing. Sorry for my misunderstanding. This only makes her point stronger, in my opinion. So she had that assumption. When he clarified he only had an associate's, at any point did she say an associate's is not a real degree? At any point did she say, if you say you have 2 degrees, you can't claim 2 degrees if you only have 2 associates or an associate's and a bachelor's in the same field? At any point did she say that? At any point did she imply that? What she said very directly and what she implied with her direct words is that there is a societal assumption that when someone says they have 2 degrees, generally we assume they have a bachelor's and more, a bachelor's and another bachelor's, a bachelor's and a master's and a master's. We're not generally assuming they have a GED and an associate's when someone says I have 2 degrees, right? She doesn't say I think the assumption that 2 degrees equals bachelor's or higher is implying that an associate's is not as good. I think that's where a lot of the discourse and backlash is coming from. So do we believe, this is a conversation I had privately with someone, and we didn't come to a conclusion. Do we believe the assumption itself that when someone says they have 2 degrees, it means a bachelor's and higher? Do we believe that this colloquial language itself is elitism? Or, excuse me, do we believe this implies that an associate's is not as good? What is defined as not as good? If you're defining not as good as you didn't take as many classes, then I would say yes, but I don't think that's what you mean by not as good. I think you mean less valuable. But then I would need to know how you're defining value for degrees. Both can get a job. That doesn't seem to be, associate's degree is not on the same level as a bachelor's. They're not the same, nor are they viewed with the same esteem because they're not the same. So in my personal opinion, the societal assumption that when you say you have 1 degree pursuing another, or you have 2 degrees, is that you have a bachelor's and another bachelor's or higher, does not come off as implying that associates are not as good implicitly. Excuse me, inherently, or both. Let me Google the words. Hold up. No, I don't believe that does. I think it's based on how college works as a general matter, because an associate's degree is on the way to a bachelor's degree and not something that's done in addition to as a general matter. I think that is why we make the assumption that when someone says they have 2 degrees, they're talking about a bachelor's. I don't think it's because they only hold bachelor's degree. They only value bachelor's and higher, and they don't value associates. I think it's like related to how school is structured, how higher education is structured. So, excuse me. Let's say we have a, let me see. Where'd it go? Because I wrote something down in my outline. Because I did some research, because I had an assumption about associate's degrees that I wanted to confirm. And so I'll use this as an example to kind of illustrate why I think people assume a bachelor's or higher. So for a bachelor's in psychology, let's say you need 4 general education classes, your math, science, history, English, which you're required to obtain regardless of what type of degree or field of study you're going to pursue. And then you need 4 classes in the field of study. So in this case, psychology will be maybe psychology 1101, psychology 1102, 1103, 1104, or whatever the name of the course is. And once you complete those 4 general ed classes in those 4 psychology classes, you achieve your bachelor's in psychology. Now, let's say you want to get not just a bachelor's in psychology, but you want to get an associate's and a bachelor's in psychology. You only need to meet the same requirements as getting a bachelor's degree: 4 general ed classes, and then those 4 psychology 1, 2, 3, 4 classes. When you say I have 2 degrees, I think what someone is assuming as a general matter is that you took those 4 general ed classes, you took those 4 psychology classes, and then you took an additional 4 focused classes, but in a different field of study. Let's say you took psychology 1, 2, 3, 4 and sociology 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as your 4 general ed classes for a total of 12 courses. Or maybe in the same field, you pursue your master's. Let's say you take an additional 4 classes for that master's. So 4 general ed classes, psychology 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 4 psychology classes at an upper level: abnormal psychology, clinical, social, developmental psychology, sort of more challenging courses that you need to obtain, a master's degree. Again, a total of 12 classes. So I think people are not thinking that you took 8 classes in the same field, which would be the normal amount for 1 degree, and you simply went and applied for the second 2-year degree that you can get without additional requirement. And based on my research, this seems to be the case. I'm not saying this is the actual amount of classes. Like, I think you need like 60 course hours or class or something. I forget if it's 60 courses or 60 hours. I forget. It's been a while, y'all. But you don't just take classes. I thought for master's, it's just taking classes, and for doctorates or maybe a legal degree, it would be something specific like the bar. Or for doctorates, I know you have to do like papers and things in addition to just taking a class. But yeah, I could be misunderstanding as well. Yeah. Either way, there's an extra requirement, and that lends to my point, by the way. There's an extra requirement when it comes to gen ed transfer to a 4-year. When it comes to the master or something else, there's like a extra requirement. Okay, let me stop about that, because I don't know about law school, so let me not bring that up again. Nor do I know about a doctorate. So the backlash she received is extreme, considering that I feel this is generally the societal understanding of the language "I have 2 degrees" seems to be an understanding that someone did additional work outside of what's required to obtain a normal bachelor's. And that's not to say an associate's is not a milestone, nor is it to say an associate's is not valuable, but it seems plausible in my opinion that her assertion that he is being intentionally misleading seems valid based on how I understand we as a society to make an assumption based on when someone says they have 2 degrees. She has a master's. From her perspective, assumed he always had a master. Yes, she says explicitly in the video, everyone who I know, whenever they say they have 2 degrees, is talking about pursuing their master's or a second bachelor's. I've never heard anyone say associates. She says that directly in the video. We're gonna watch the follow-up now. Degree is in the name. I think you have to catch up. I don't think we're arguing about whether or not an associate's degree is a degree. We are debating whether or not this man was intentionally relying on societal expectation to mislead her and make himself look better than he is. Let's see. I'm trying to go to her next video. Do we need to watch the original one more time, or are we good to go to her follow-up video? Or did y'all want to see some more of the responses? I feel like we kind of have a general idea of what people are saying and how they're responding. Going once. Going twice. All right, let's go to the follow-up. I'd be saying going once, going twice, and get no answer ever.
Education is
okay.
Education is clearly triggering. And when you're triggered, I don't think you fully hear. Also, to be clear, I'm not triggered. I like conversation. It's why I yap on the internet. I'm okay being corrected. I'm okay being wrong. If you look at the comments, there are people who are like, no, you're wrong, and this is why. And I'm engaging with them in earnest. I've learned things. I didn't know that a nursing degree, I only know, candidly, I really only know NP. So I didn't realize you could be an RN with an associate's. And now I know that for vocational trades, you can have an associate. Duly noted. In my experience, I had only encountered people who went associates to bachelor's as a stepping stone, which is why in my original thread, I was like, isn't it just like...
Sorry, I misstated. I think in this video is where she says that. I don't know if she says it in the original video.
2 steps of 1 degree, because that's all I had. And now I know something new. But, so, which is why in my original thread, I was like, isn't it just like 2 steps of 1 degree? Because that's all I had. And now I know something new. But when I say X, right, which I'm like, in conversation, the association we have to multiple degrees, are we really ever talking about this? I don't think I am. Now, if you say yes, when I say multiple degrees, I'm including associates. That's amazing perspective. Thank you. Pretending that I'm saying that it's not 2 degrees, that's not what I'm saying. Like, what I am saying in a different scenario is if you and your homegirl say, hey, let's eat salads this week. And she says, yes, I'll only eat salads this week. And the week passes and you've been eating kale and spinach and you find out she's been eating chicken salad and pasta salad. She's not technically wrong. It's literally a salad. It's in the name. But the association we have with the word salad, you'd be like, what the hell? Girl, you know what I mean? Like, what the hell? And now if your stance is like, no, when I say salad, I mean all the potential worlds of a salad. Cool. Thank you for educating me that other people think differently. But you haven't done that. You're debating a topic that I'm not debating. If I say go to the grocery store and get me some fruit or pick up fruit at the grocery store and you come back with a cucumber and tomato, you're not technically wrong. It's literally a fruit. But that's not the conversation. That's the conversation I'm trying to have. Y'all are having a different conversation. And because education is apparently triggering, I didn't realize it was, but apparently it's really triggering that you are replying like it's literally this as you are adding context to like subtext that I didn't say. You want to have a literal response, but you're adding in, you're like, you're doing X, Y, Z. How am I doing it? Where did I say that? What word did I say that did that? Oh no, but you're implying, like, you can't have it both ways. Either we're talking literal or we're talking connotation and nuance. If you want to say there's nuance to what I said in this Classist and elitist, cool. That's your prerogative, that's your opinion. But then there's also nuance to the term multiple degrees. And connotation, like, either there is or there isn't. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Education is clearly triggering.
When was the last time y'all saw me watch a video and not pause it? I think this was very well said. I don't have many notes. He relied on social norms to do the heavy lifting. And she's clarifying because people are responding to something she didn't said, and she has more responses that we'll watch. In her original video, she also said up until that point, she thought associate degrees were a part of pursuing one field, but she realized it could be separate from that conversation. Yeah, so she learned some stuff about how associate's degree work, but was there ever, and she admits that she learns this stuff. She admits, by the way, that, oh, I didn't have all of that knowledge. I didn't know. Good to hear. But at no point does it feel like her original point about him intentionally being misleading is disproven. In fact, she reiterates that here by using the salad example. You and your friend are eating salad for the week, and you find out they've been eating chicken and pasta salad. And their response to that is, you never said it had to be only, what's it called? Vegan, not vegan, vegetarian, something like that. Only lettuce and tomato and blah 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 salad stuff. You never said green salad. Literally, the definition of salad is just, hold on, let me Google the definition of salad. A dish consisting of mixed ingredients, frequently vegetable. This is a salad. It's Chex Mix. Technically, the definition of salad is just mixed ingredients. So I didn't lie. Like, we understand why that may not be technically a lie, but we're relying on technicality as opposed to like observing social norms and context. So I do agree with her there. Let's see what the comments saying. This argument is so wild and so American. I had never heard of an associate's degree until I started applying for jobs abroad, and they had to specify that associates don't count and not to apply. Where the police going? What's happening? Who fighting on Thanksgiving? Who they going to get? Y'all hear that? We on Thanksgiving. Y'all couldn't chill for one night in this quiet little town? Anyway, they had to specify an associates don't count and not to apply until you had a full degree to warn the Americans to not waste their time. The only people trying to argue that an associate's is a real degree are people who have never been in a higher education setting or only have an associate's and want to praise for something they didn't do. So this gentleman, this is who y'all should be. He's the one who's saying an associate's ain't nothing. Y'all just want praise for nothing. That's what he said. And associates don't count. Why ain't nobody attack him? He don't have any replies to that comment. Oh, it was 5 hours ago. He ain't got no replies. Why is she getting all the smoke for something she ain't even say or imply? Never said it. And she only asked a question. And instead of answering the question, people wanted to drag. In your first video, you said it felt intentionally deceptive, and we can see the other comments you liked. You absolutely meant it in an elitist way. You meant to demean people with an associates. There's nothing wrong with saying you're learning, but why gaslight and pretend you didn't previously see it a certain way? She responded and asked, did you watch the full video? I legit acknowledged new perspective I learned from threads, selective hearing, because I hit a trigger. It felt intentionally deceptive. When she said, do we feel like when she said it seemed like he was intending to deceive her by saying 2 degrees instead of an associate's working on a bachelor's, do we feel like that statement itself is elitist? Or was that statement meant to demean people with an associate's? Y'all can be honest. Don't agree with me just because I'm Prince Petty. Please say it to your heart's content, or hit the dislike button. Express yourself, or hit the like button. It helps out a lot. We have 72 people, but only 35 likes. Is that how y'all feel? Say it again. Say it or play it. Say what? She said she feels he was being intentionally deceiving, because he said he has a degree, pursuing his second degree. And when she asked for clarification, he was talking about his associates and perceiving a bachelor's in the same field. She feels like he was relying on societal norms to do heavy lifting for him, and knowing that when people hear 2 degrees, they generally assume a bachelor's in high. Not get the likes down. No, don't unlike, dislike. There's a difference. There's a difference. I got to know how you feel, even if it's negative. So yeah, she feels like he felt like if he says 2 degrees, society will assume it means more than what he actually did. And he was intentional. We don't know that he's intentional. We're not in his mind, so we don't know what he intended and what he didn't. But I'm sort of making a judgment based on the available information we have. It does seem like he was being intentionally disingenuous, even if she did learn something about associate's degrees and how they can be applied, and nursing degrees and such like that. Production inquiry. You said you were on his side. You don't feel he was being deceptive, and we need to stop attacking men in this society because they are oppressed.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Why did you say all that stuff?
You sound like other people that put words in people's mouths.
Oh,
I don't necessarily look. You can attack whoever you want to. It's a holiday, fisticuffs. But
hell yeah.
I don't think he was being deceptive. I do think. I think the conversation that the person from Europe or whatever was saying is interesting because I think associate's degrees are probably more common than they used to be because in America, the whole revenue generating stream of higher education, like, you know, University of Phoenix, you could mail in a degree and get anything. I'm not dissing people with that, but I'm just saying like that whole culture is new in a revenue generating kind of framework. So probably if you check between 1950 and 2000, the number of associate's degrees has probably skyrocketed. And so there could be people who feel like, oh, associate's degree is a full degree. And then there's other people who might be older that are like, oh, no, it's not.
It feels like societal views on associate's degree as far as the 2 degrees conversation is concerned, or degrees as a general matter, it seems like associates are on shaky ground. Like maybe there isn't a societal consensus. Maybe some people think it's valuable, other people don't. Some people think it's a stepping stone, other people think it's legitimate. Like it doesn't seem like there's a very well. I think it's. I think generally people value it less, but in this specific conversation, I think that people are not thinking about associates generally, not due to them valuing or not valuing it in this specific conversation. But regardless, the way you describe people's thoughts about associate's degree make it seem like it's on some shaky ground. Bachelor's does not seem to be on shaky ground. Master's does not seem to be on shaky ground. So it feels like this lends credits to the point that when somebody say 2 degrees, we generally gonna assume bachelors are higher, because it seems like people don't even know if they want to consider associates an accomplishment.
I can also say, like, if someone is first generation college educated, like, and they don't have other people in their family with any type of education after high school, then they might not have the contextual background to understand that people might perceive an associate's degree differently themselves. So that's what I'm like saying. He might not be trying to be, trying to pull the wool over our eyes or be deceptive. That might be the context in which he understands education.
I disagree because of him talking about his big house, his big car. That's not what he said, but I have a big house, I have a big car, I have a big D, I have a big 6-pack, I have a big forehead, everything. And I have 2 degrees. That makes me feel like he was intentionally being he in this conversation, in this context, his purpose in this conversation, based on her description of how he is presenting all the cool stuff he has, seems to be inflating his value and making himself look good. And I believe he said I mean, I guess that doesn't mean he had to be dishonest about it to brag about having 2 degrees and consider it an accomplishment. But there's a certain way that men date as a general matter that makes me feel like it's more likely than not that he was being intentionally dishonest. And that's because I mentioned plausible deniability a lot tonight. Let me go ahead and remove this comment. Why we got spam? Oh, that's on Twitch. By the way, I dual stream, y'all. I'm on Twitch too.
I didn't know that he had done all the the Donald Trump bigly descriptors, the bigly descriptors before he mentioned his degrees. I agree with you then. There are people that they start exaggerating. So as they exaggerate, they fudge the truth about what is and is not. So even if he was saying his bachelor's was loading, it might not even be loading. So yeah, he probably is just exaggerating and fudging the truth.
Now, production, let me pose a hypothetical to you for the sake of
Yes.
understanding your approach as well as the general approach to this conversation. Let's say you're on a date with a man. He says he has a big house and a nice car, right?
Yes.
He takes you back to his place. It's a cardboard box outside between an alley. You tell him you feel misled, and he says, misled how? All I said was I live in a big house. Big is subjective. It's big to me. It's big to mice. It's big to ants. And the word house is subjective too. This is technically my home. One of the definitions of house is a person's living quarters. So technically, I never lied about having a big house. This is my living quarters, and I do consider it big. And she says, right, okay, well, where's your nice car that you talked about your nice car? He reaches inside the box, his home, and he pulls out a toy car. And she says, again, I feel misled. And he says, I never lied. All I said is I have a nice car. I never said it was a real car that's life size with a functioning engine. Now she gets on the internet to ask TikTok, hey, when someone says they have a big car and nice house, what comes to mind for y'all? Because this man I went out with had a cardboard box and a toy car, and I was expecting a real house and a real car, like a mansion, a sports car. Surely, production, you and the rest of the internet are not going to come on here and say, and reply to her asking that question by saying, why are you judging him for living in a box? You are elitist. Why do you value houses over boxes? Your elitism is devaluing people who have boxes for home. And what we're doing when we do that is we're leaning into Western white patriarchal standards around what we consider homes, and we're devaluing people who are currently experiencing homelessness. Now, at any point did I say he's stupid for living in a cardboard box, and people who live in a cardboard box are less valuable, and people who don't have nice sports cars are less valuable? At any point was that said? Or is what was said, I feel deceived, and like he intentionally used language with the understanding of what people assume as a general matter when you use that language, just for me to find out actually he doesn't have that stuff? Because I feel like it's the latter. Unhoused, we went from
Petty, are you saying that associate's degrees? Are you
sorry.
saying that associate's degrees are the cardboard boxes of education?
That would be the analogy, yes, but I wouldn't say to that. This obviously
Oh
this
my
is the
God,
logical. This is the logical experience. I don't actually think associate degrees are boxes, but we'll say you went and found a tiny home.
What level? I have issues with people coming on the internet after a date and talking about anybody unless something very entertaining happened, like very entertaining. How educated is this woman? Because I like just hopped on. I just hopped on the stream. I didn't listen to the whole thing.
I believe she says she has a master's or pursuing one.
Like, part of me is like, find something to do. I don't know. Like, you met some guy who overinflated his qualifications. I mean, you made it home in one piece. Nobody's looking for you on the 11 o'clock news. Consider yourself blessed and move on, or go do some homework, ma'am.
Oh, excuse me. I think she didn't say. I don't think she said what degree she had, if any. She just implied that her and people around her assume when someone means 2 degrees, it's 2 or more bachelors or masters or something like that.
If she
Apologies.
had if she was like if she had a whole bunch of degrees herself, I could see why would matter so much to her. I do think, to your point, he was exaggerating, but I don't.
My thing is, I don't think it mattered that much. I think she came on Threads to have like a little quick
conversation.
post, like, girl, I went on this date. I feel like this man lied. And instead of just it being a regular thing, it blew up.
Yeah.
And it blew up in her face. And now she has to respond with the video. Like, I don't actually think she made it a big deal in the first place. I think the response to it was just wild.
Well, I don't know. It's like I come from a heavily degreed family. Eh.
Yeah, I have when I said 2 degrees, I was saying I have my GED and also went back to get my high school diploma. I never technically lied.
Did the guy really have a big house, though? That's more important to me.
And the example, look, big is subjective. He's right. That's what I'm trying to illustrate, though. I'm trying to illustrate is plausible deniability, because there are people saying he never lied, and when you asked him, he clarified, but it doesn't. He was honest when she asked him what he had. He didn't lie. He said he has an associate. Well, he might have lied, but assuming he was truthful, he didn't lie about having a bachelor's or master's. He admitted he had an associate, so he was working on his bachelor's. But
I'll be honest. I do think that there are people. I think this guy, based on the way you're telling me now, was being deceptive. I absolutely think that there are people who think an associate's degree is a degree.
Yay.
I 1,000,000% believe that. And I'll go so far as to say this. You know how Harvard has like their online degree school things, and you can actually, it's usually it's like a business school certificate, and they actually physically graduate you. Oh my gosh, the way real Ivy League graduates are like, this is disgusting. Like, this whole conversation about the cottage industry of selling credentials in the circle of higher ed, it is an elitist conversation, and it should be. But I'm just saying, because even Harvard does that, I absolutely believe that there are people who truly actually believe an associate's degree is no different than a bachelor's.
Period. I'm gonna take this as I convinced you.
Yeah. Oh no. I do believe based on the way you're telling me, he told the story. Yeah, he was fudging the truth. Even because I would go so far as she needs to figure out how many credits he has in on his bachelor's, because it's probably less than 9. Like, he sounds like he's someone who's embellishing. But selling credentials is a thing, to the extent that I do think there are people who feel like anything that has a degree at the end is a degree.
Thank you, production. Now that you have my opinion, I consider it the correct one. I do appreciate that. Wake up, make up, slay. Looking like
wake up,
let me find out who went out on Thanksgiving.
Look how pretty she is.
Slaying more than turkeys. Let me find out.
So no, I'm just clarifying because she says right off the bat, he came to her unsolicited. It wasn't a date.
Yes.
So how he came to her, I don't know, but he came basically to flirt with her and to, I'm sure, amplify himself in a way that would make her, or he's trying to make her interested. And she just asked clarifying questions. Oh, what's your master's in? Her frame of reference is master's because she has a bachelor's and a master's. And then he has to clarify what he's saying by saying it's an associate's. We don't poo-poo on associate's degrees over here. If we're going by Petty's logic, I have a cardboard associate's degree as well.
You better flex that it is not a cardboard.
But I'm just saying. So it was the fact that he approached it that way, and then she goes to Threads to ask the question, because they're missing the point. He came to her unsolicited. Full stop. Her frame of reference is master's and bachelor's because that is what she has. So if a man is coming to me to brag on himself, and I didn't ask him to come over to me to talk to me, my assumption is gonna be, I am gonna think bigger, right? Like, just like the cardboard box. You tell me you have a big house, I'm thinking it's gonna be 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, right? Not a double cardboard box. Like, just I'm gonna think. And especially because she said this man is in his early 40s. So that's another thing. Yes, we know there's adult education, but if again you're coming to me unsolicited to brag on yourself at your big age, and I have a master's, and you tell me you're working on your second degree, I'm gonna assume it's the master's because that's my frame of reference. So she's not wrong in her assumption.
Thank you for contextualizing this interaction. I think it was you who pointed out that he did it unsolicited first, or yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's not just that I believe as a society we make a certain assumption when someone says 2 degrees, but there's also the context of how he approached her and with what intention he approached her with, which seems to be to impress and embellish himself as, well, not embellish, but to present himself as high status, perhaps higher than he actually is based on his 2 degrees comment. And there's a sort of way that I feel men date as a general matter, where instead of saying, for example, they want to have sex with someone directly, there'll be a sort of game that they play where they don't say this up front because they know saying this up front will lead to a different reaction than what they want. So while they're not lying, they, let's say, omit some information and they rely on you not asking about it. There's a certain way that men date, combined with the way he specifically approached in this conversation, combined with the way we make those assumptions about that specific language as a general matter. And all of this context is what leads me to believe he is being disingenuous. I feel it is weird because I do see these comments in my comment section still passing by occasionally, that we are making comments as if I'm making a determination on the value of degrees. I do apologize for the cardboard box analogy. That was a bit extreme and perhaps improper to analogize with that, actually. Like, that actually leans into the elitism. So I do apologize for that. But if the pushback I would expect here is not that we're devaluing degrees and an associate's is a degree and you can have 2 associates and say you have 2 degree. That's not the argument I'm making. The argument I would expect in return in my comments would be something like, I believe as a society, when we say 2 degrees, we are not assuming automatically bachelors. We're assuming associates and up, high school diploma and up. But I haven't seen that argument, which I feel like is the natural argument if you disagree. So I feel like this may be a case of hit dog hollering. Like, I can understand receiving it as inflammatory. Sure, I can understand it, especially with that one comment with the guy who said he don't think it is valuable, whatever, international guy.
I can, one thing that make upset too is I didn't know his age, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying. It's like there was a time when really associate's degrees weren't common. If this man is in his 40s, then he knows what he was saying. He knows he was embellishing, and he knows he was embellishing.
Mm-hmm.
If he was
all
like
he had to
27,
do was say, "I'm working on my bachelor's." Like,
yes,
be for
and that's
real.
what people mostly say. That's mostly what
Right.
people say.
And
And
someone,
even
sorry.
I was gonna say job applications, because I'm not like, look, I want everybody to have the opportunity to get in where they fit in, and 4-year degrees are expensive, and now the whole world is accepting that. But even like she was saying, it's like people will usually just be like, I'm working on my bachelor's, or when you apply for a job, it'll say 4-year degree. It'll say 4-year.
Mm-hmm.
And someone asked, you reminded me, someone asked, so if she was the one who he came online and talked about how she said she had an associate's working on her bachelor's. Would you have the same sentiment? And I found it difficult to answer the question because what did you just said something like, he could have just said, I'm working on my bachelor's. That's what I believe a woman would say as a general matter. I'm working
Exactly,
on my
because
bachelor's.
women don't
Yeah.
approach men like that. We do not go to them flexing on what we have because we don't have to. As a
So
matter of fact, we try to hide it because it's like you can't have anything. You can't be too educated, and you can't be uneducated. You have to be virginal, but be a sex kitten at the same time. And no, I just sit there and let them talk. Mind you, I am married, been married for 20 years. I still just let this man talk. And I always have an argument.
even on Thanksgiving,
Absolutely. Absolutely. He got told off today. Yes. But he's doing what I need him to do.
that's what we want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
We love a fallen line man over here. In my opinion, I don't speak for my chat.
Fall line king.
My chat
Period.
like traditional masculine men who put women in their place. That's what my chat like. I'm
No.
just saying, y'all, please don't drag.
You get to a certain age, you just speak plainly, especially when you've been with somebody for so long. So there is no beating around the bush. I know you, you know me. So we're just going to tell it to each other straight.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Now, do y'all want to stay for the rest of these? I'm probably just going to let them play. I think we've covered my thoughts pretty well. I think you both added really amazing contributions and perspective. And of course, like, I'm letting her videos play fully because she saying stuff and I don't disagree, so I don't find myself having to pause all the time every 5 seconds. And that's another thing. She not gonna say something silly like men do, and I don't have to pause every 5 seconds, and it can be a much more enjoyable experience. Anyway, so if y'all
I'm
want,
hopping down back into the chat because my child will pop up in here any second. So
okay,
I'm lucky she didn't already.
don't worry, I'm gonna get us on out of here, y'all. Don't worry. We just got
I'm hopping down too. Happy Thanksgiving, Petty. Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving. Wake up,
Thanksgiving.
make up, Soleil. It's great to
Thank
see you.
you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
y'all said she's 6'1". No, she clearly says she's a smirky, worthy, boring girl with 6'1" energy. So reading comprehension is gonna be the thing today, huh? So we all have this problem. Is that what I'm just playing? Let me stop. Cause it's small too. I know this text be small on the screen. I can't see it either, and my screen big.
I love this comment.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get y'all out of here. This is a half-hour stream, y'all. We're not gonna make it to 30 minutes. We at 13 minutes now. We still got 17 minutes, y'all. We are under our time limit. No need to worry.
I love this comment. Thanks for leaving it. Couple thoughts here. No, I did not know how it was going to be perceived. I am the youngest sibling, including cousins, of a Caribbean family. If I wanted to say something slick, trust me, my mouth is vicious. I could have come up with something way better that was more biting. That was me being genuine. My frame of reference is X. Here's my point of view. This is what caught me off guard because of my frame of reference. Am I alone? And the answer could genuinely be yes, you are. Like, I'm okay with that. But the other thing is, it's hard. It's funny. If you think I'm classist, I honestly don't care at this point. If you think I'm elitist, I don't care. I know what my mission is in this world. I know on my path and what I do to put good work. Like, I know me. But what I think is crazy is that, like I said, like, I don't come from much. Like, my grandmother graduated 6th grade. My father and my mother both struggled through high school. I think my dad might have an associate's. I don't even know if he went to college. Anyways, they struggled. But one thing was for certain in my family that, like, as Black people, education mattered. And maybe it's the fallacy of, like, if we succeed in education, we'll get ahead. But it's like, this is what your people fought for the ability to get a degree. And so you are going to get whatever America says the educational currency is. And so the baseline was a bachelor's. Like I said, I know people who got their associates, but it was just like, whether it's I can't afford it or I struggled in high school and I need something in the middle before I go straight into a 4-year, because going into a 4-year can be overwhelming. Again, this is not talking vocations. This is talking like corporate America, white collar jobs. Now, if you think that's a crock-ish, Cool, won't debate you. The system is broken. But I think it's funny that my being raised in the desire to be your ancestors' wildest dream, or whatever that phrase, makes me an elitist. And I'm sorry, I don't anchor my frame of reference on the masses, because the masses haven't been kind to Black people. And so I don't know. I'm still noodling on that one. But like, it's really interesting to be called classist when you know that you come from nothing. And I say that as a point of pride. I love my upbringing. I love coming from people who believed in the beauty of their dreams. I love this comment. Thanks for leaving it.
She has, I think, one more.
Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon Zura got online and said, like, I have one brother, my twin.
Oh, that might have been the last part.
I am kind of over this associate's degree conversation, in all honesty. But what did shock me is how many bad faith arguments and like straw man fallacy comments and follow-up videos this sparked. Y'all are free to talk about whatever you would like on this app. My video could spark whatever other thoughts you would like. But if you are quoting as what I said, what I believe, or what I meant, and your response is anchored in anything other than what your association with those words are, you're twisting my words. The most well-rounded like follow-up that I have seen is that while yes, the common association with multiple degrees or second degree is bachelor's or higher, that is rooted in like societal classism, and we should evolve it. Aligned, agree, cool. However, the majority of what I have seen has been taking either a part of what I said, what you think I said, or what you're assuming I said, or candidly, things I just never said, and then making a whole conversation or argument around it. Example,
If the 2 degrees is linked to societal classes, rooted in societal classism, what is the response to her video rooted in? Because it seems like misogynoir.
the video on this app about me where a man is saying that he saw my video. I met a man with an associate's degree, and I told that man that associate's degree isn't a real degree. Never said those words. I've seen people saying, well, your tone implied that. That is an assumption, right? That's making an assumption. One, since I thought we weren't tone policing Black women. But anyways, you're assuming, which is the thing you said that I did. I've also seen people saying it is literally a degree, which I have never debated at any step. I've seen people change the conversation to be about money and earnings. Well, my associate's degree pays me XYZ dollars. So, okay, never said it didn't. Like, that man had a house and a car. He was paid. What I haven't seen, which I actually think is the most interesting, is that no one has come and left a comment or a video that explicitly says, when I hear the term 2 degrees or multiple or second degree, I instinctively think that it could be an associate's all the way to a PhD. Someone can say they're getting their second degree, and yes, in my brain, I think it could be 2 associates.
Oh my God, she's restating my argument. Did she pre-watch this live stream and steal my? Oh no, now I have to reach out about this. Actually, I feel like this is my argument. Actually, why is no one making the argument that, oh, actually, when I hear 2 degrees, I immediately assume it means 2 associates? Huh? Why is no one making that argument? Never mind. We've already hashed it out. We know why.
Associates instinctively, right? Instead, you guys said, well, it's actually a degree, so sure, it should be counted. Or people said, well, I wouldn't have assumed, I would have just asked. But apparently on the internet, where everyone's holier than thou, no one has ever had an assumption about anything ever. All of you asked 4 to 5 follow-up questions about everything you ever thought, except for what I meant in my video. You can disagree with the word association. You can disagree with my point of view. You can, but at least disagree with what I'm actually saying and not what you are thinking I'm saying, what you're assuming I'm saying, which apparently we don't do anymore. You know what I mean? Like, one person literally said, she said it, and I know that's what she meant. What? You know? Okay. I am kind of over.
Okay, so start over for an associate. Oh, I would absolutely wait. Start over. Wait, hold up. Maybe I have like a gross misunderstanding of associates. I thought you get an associate's in something, and let's say psychology, and the only thing you need to do to get an associate's and another thing is to take the electives for that class. So if I have an associate's in psychology, presumably I have some general ed classes and I don't know, psychology classes. To get an associate's in sociology, in addition to that, I thought I would only need to take sociology courses. See, Now I gotta do some Googling. See, now y'all got me gotta go and do some making me do work. So she mentioned that the assumption that 2 degrees is bachelor's and higher, that people do not immediately implicitly think that 2 degrees starts at, I don't know, in associates, I'll say, is rooted in classism. And there's a concept called credentialism or degree inflation. And there's a sort of bias that the bachelor's degree is a baseline. And this is like the crux of my argument, as a matter of fact, and it's the crux of hers. And I personally do not believe that this stems from classism, but I understand the argument that there's a belief that an associate's degree is a stepping stone, not a destination. And we've kind of been trained to view the 4-year degree as the standard, the constant, for an educated person. So anything less than a 4-year, like an associate's, a certificate at your job, a high school diploma, or a GED, is subconsciously categorized at, well, no, let's talk about it in terms of higher education. So it would be an associate's. I don't think there are other degrees between high school diploma and bachelor's besides the associates, if I'm remembering correctly. But it is subconsciously categorized as incomplete or vocational. Someone mentioned that they associate it with community college, or this is a degree you use to transfer credits to a 4-year school to complete your degree. So there is a sort of assumption, a subconscious categorization that this is incomplete, and this is a stepping stone. And there is, as the first responder who we watched to her video said, there is a sort of degree inflation where as more people get access to bachelor's degrees, the value of the bachelor goes down. So to signal status, which the man in the she was mentioning is trying to do, the bar moves up to master's. And for working class family, an associate's is a life-changing milestone, I feel, especially when you come from a background of people who, like, you're a first-generation college student. Whereas I assume the elite view it as a quote-unquote year 1 or year 2 of college. And so there is nuance there. I don't want to dismiss anyone in the comments who have been saying that this is elitism, this is classism, because I understand the argument that you're making when it comes to why you believe associate's degrees are devalued. The disconnect comes from, I do not believe that is actually what the conversation she's trying to have is about at all. That is a completely separate conversation that I believe talks right past her. Like, it is too far away. The assumption that comparing her words to what am I? Let me search for the words. Hold up. I feel it is too big a leap to and if girl, somebody help. Somebody help. It's the food. It ain't digested yet. That's what it is. It feels like people are conflating her argument with and putting the weight of a sort of societal classism when it comes to how we view education, and they're placing that squarely on her as her opinion and responding to her as if it is her opinion, when not only is it not her opinion, but she explicitly states multiple times that it is not, and she believes the opposite, and that she values those degrees that everyone keeps saying she's devaluing. This woman did not create this hierarchy that people are saying when they say we're elitist about the 2-degree thing. She simply acknowledged that it exists. She pointed out that in the dating market specifically, well, not just in the dating market, I believe in society broadly, but the code for he was trying to use with 2 degrees is highly educated, upper middle class, something like that, achievement that he did not get. And he, knowing about what people call a classist hierarchy, tried to exploit it. And he knew that if he said, I have an associate's, she might place him in one box. Not that that is her actual belief, but rather this is the assumption he made based on how society views those things. She knew he might place him in one box, but if he said he has 2 degrees, she would put him in a fancier box. And so this is just me trying to acknowledge and hopefully provide some affirmation to the people, not me, not daily affirmation anyway, to the people who are making the argument in my comment section, at least, that she's being classist or elitist. I disagree. I understand your argument. I think it is misplaced in this conversation. Just stop talking. Period. Y'all, happy Thanksgiving. Y'all have a wonderful. Oh wait, we still gotta do our after show. I'll play my swallowed and we'll get right into it and we'll get on out of here. Oh, be sure to like the video, by the way, if you haven't already. Nope, not using that one.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up. Swallowed. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up.
Hello, welcome. You made it just in time for us to end the show. Miss You Petty recently subbed and then you went ghost. I've been extremely busy at work. There are a lot of government employees at the place I work, and recently work has been incredibly crazy. And I'm gonna blame this directly on the Trump administration. And I am overworked. And very like I feel worn out and very stretched thin. But also recently I caught a violent illness. I would have liked to go live last weekend, but I got it's not a violent illness. I just think my body's weak. I don't get sick a lot, but when I do, it kind of takes me out for a good minute. And although I'm not weak and barely can move anymore, it's still persisting to the point where I have to go on mute several times during this stream and cough in a way that I'm sure my neighbors can hear. And I'm gonna have to wipe this microphone down because I don't know what's in this cough, but whenever this sickness is gone, I don't want whatever's in it on this microphone. Wipe down the screen, the desk, the key, everything getting Clorox. So I do apologize for the absence. Love this beat. Now, why do you like that beat? Let me show you where I got that beat from. I always love to give full context. Y'all know how much I love that. Let me go ahead and pull it up. You said, where did I get that from? Oh my God, come on. It just won't let me be great. That's so crazy. They don't want you to know that. They're not ready for that though. Let me go ahead and download this video so I just have it saved. That's what I'll do. I'm gonna go ahead and download that. That's what I'll do. Here's where it came from, in case you were curious.
Come out the closet and stop keeping a secret. Come out the closet and stop keeping a secret and let the world.
From start to finish. I love this clip from start to finish. The full context makes it.
Come out the closet and stop keeping a secret and let the world know, if it had not been for the Lord that was on my side, I would have been, I would have been, I would have been, I would have been, I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and you were at your wit's end? That is my point of view. Because my point of view in the Easter story is relational. But from God's perspective, it is quite transactional. The word redemption is in its nature transactional.
Y'all ain't hear him. Y'all ain't hear him though. You need to come out the closet and stop keeping a secret and get swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you ever gone through a time of swallowing when everything was overwhelming and you were at your wit's end? And he didn't wipe the sweat from his forehead or nothing. He said for him it's relational, but for God, this relationship is quite transactional, you see. Quite transactional. Y'all know, I know something about, I've seen online these people talk about a transactional relationship and coming out the closet. I love it. I love that for him. Now let me go ahead and download that video. Because I had trouble finding it this time. I was scared they removed it. Don't be like me. Download it before they get it. Download it before somebody take it down for defamation or something. That was a thing in September 2025. People talk about defamation and losing their job for quoting people in full context. It was crazy times, y'all. Crazy times. Okay. How are we all feeling? Are we doing good? Do we feel like the Dems should have held out for the healthcare and they're kind of weak and useless and don't stand on anything? Or are we like, yes, they did it. They put everybody out of a job for 20 days just to give up anyway. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? You know what? Never mind. It's Thanksgiving. Let's save this for the next week. How about that? Let's save it for next weekend. Thank you everyone for joining. I really do appreciate that. I will go ahead and end the stream now. Please do leave a like on the video. It helps out a lot for the algorithm. Let me go ahead and check the likes. We need to do the like shaming. We need to go ahead and do that. 58 likes, 70 watching. To the people who are watching but did not like the video, come outside. I just want to talk, and we're not going to jump you. We just want to talk. Going once. Here, let me see how many people are subscribed. Let's go ahead and look at that. Okay, on this video, on this current stream, out of everyone here watching, 72% of you, 72.3, I don't know who that 0.3 of a person is. 72.3 of you are subscribed. 27.7 of you are not. I'm gonna need the 27 and half of a person with a little extra, more than half since it's 0.7. I'm gonna need y'all to come outside and we have a chat so I can understand why you didn't hit that subscribe button. Is it because of the 2-month hiatus? Is it because of that? I completely understand, actually. Completely understand. I'm gonna give y'all what you want. I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm gonna give you some content. Don't worry about it. Cause I just seen something about a prescription glasses and people dragging this black woman. Why? Because I thought they had prescription in them too. I thought it was prescription in them. I thought they was on the glasses coated with some liquid or something prescription. I thought it was on. I didn't know. I didn't know it was just the degree of the lens and the convex and concave. It makes sense when I think about it, but I just never thought about it. I thought it was prescription. That's just what they said. It's just what they said. Drop the link. Somebody want to argue? Please come up and argue. Drop the link. Come up and argue. A GED and an Amazon degree. The final poll results. Let's go ahead and look at that. Still only 58 likes, period. The final poll results, 142 people voted. When a man says he has 2 degrees, what do you assume? 19% of you said 2 bachelors. 6% of you said 2 masters. 54% of you said a bachelor's and a master's. 22% of you said an associate's and a bachelor's. There were additional people on the other Q&A who said because it is a man specifically, they think he probably has 2 associates or less. That's what they said. Hello, level up, single mom. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on in his house? You live at princepetti, princepetti, live on the radio. Yo.
Hello.
Who you want to give a shout out to?
I wanna bully you.
Boo.
I wanna bully you.
Oh, bully.
Yes, because I be dropping hot fire in your Discord. I'm holding your Discord
Y'all think I
together
don't
on my
watch the stuff
shoulders.
in there? Y'all think I'm not watching it?
You may as well not be, because you don't say a daggone thing. It's dead in there.
My friends send me TikTok and I watch them rarely, but when I watch them, I just be like,
I'm not talking about TikTok. I'm talking about Discord.
But what was sent in the Discord? What kind of a video was sent in the Discord?
All kind for months. And this is before you took your hiatus. I will say things.
TikToks. See, and that's what we talked about today. I said I open the TikTok and I don't say anything. You said you're not talking about TikTok. You talk about the Discord. And what's in the Discord? TikToks. This is
okay, but you can say something about, if you don't want to say anything on TikTok, you can say something about it in the Discord. This is my point.
This is crazy. I actually have this argument in real life with multiple people.
So you saying I need to just stop engaging with you because you don't appreciate my engagement is what it sounded like.
The Discord is not to engage with me specifically. The Discord is for a community who engages with each other. The Discord is not your personal message.
We can engage with each other. We don't need you to engage.
Well, I would think that based on somebody coming up on my live stream and tell me I need to go over the TikToks because
yes, because if I'm sending, I'm like, oh, Petty must like this. Petty might like this. I thought of you.
I have someone here because multiple people have told me this. So maybe you can give me some clarity. I have someone who I'm close to in my life who sends TikToks from time to time. It takes me maybe not too long, just a couple weeks to finally get to those TikToks and watch them. Is this a problem?
Are you responding when you watch them? See,
I was relying on you to not ask a follow-up question.
Exactly, just like a dick, just like a man.
I'm gonna say if I do reply, it may be short or lackluster. I'll say that.
Okay, let me explain this, and this is for
No.
anybody who needs to hear this. When people are sharing these things with you, they are trying to bond with you. They are sharing jokes with you and humor. That is an attempt at quality time. So when
Mm.
you don't engage, it is a rejection of them. And some people's feelings are gonna get hurt. Other people are gonna be like, "Say no more," and they're just going to disengage from you.
Okay, I have some people who don't care. I have some people who do care. So this is a bonding. Understood.
Because
Understood.
specifically
That's what I was
too,
told privately. So
it's like, because I just saw a TikTok probably today where it was a guy said he felt like Tony Stark when he was moving all his stuff around on his virtual, command center. He said that's what it feels like, sending the different memes to the different group chats, because it is like a highly specialized thing where you're like, okay, this group of people has this type of humor and this particular person has this type of humor. So these aren't just like offhand things. These are things where they're like, oh, this makes me think of this specific person or this specific group of people.
mm. Now, what you gonna do when you send TikTok and I say and that's it?
I quit. I was coming up to let you know
Like
that you will no longer be wasting my
no,
time. You will not waste
no.
another second of my life.
Well, now what if you send a funny TikTok and I don't laugh, and now you feel upset
I
because
spent at least I'm going to round it out to about 25 throughout the span of our connections online, and you haven't. So I'm letting you know this is my official, I'm quitting you.
not, are y'all calling me a deadbeat in my
You are
Discord?
yep, that is exactly what I'm doing. You are a deadbeat.
That's correct. On thanks, this is what we're doing on
You
Thanksgiving.
not only that, and then you play in the faces, because then I'll come back maybe after a couple weeks, because I don't even check it that much because you don't do nothing in there, and then I'll see you had like a 6:43 a.m. impromptu call
Live stream. Hey, y'all,
that
straight yeah,
nobody
let's go
came to
live. I'm
because
a
what?
private it.
Nobody came to because what is wrong with you?
Why did nobody show up to my 4 a.m. live stream? I gave a 2-minute notice. Y'all want up?
We're like, Petty,
Y'all don't got
please.
work? All right. Anywho, what you want me to? Y'all want me to make 40 accounts and message myself in the Discord and pretend to be different people? I can't keep it. I can't keep it jumping
No, be
myself.
you. Be you and engage. You know what are you talking about?
But what if they don't like me? Okay, let me.
Oh my god.
Anywho, okay, I'll be in the Discord. They wanted to watch something, but now it's 10:43, and I felt like I was gonna stay up late tonight, but I forgot. Friday is not a day off. Today was the day off. Yesterday was the day I was supposed to do late night stuff.
I'm not even saying like you gotta be in here all day every day, but you could do better than this.
I can do better. I will do better.
Hell, I do
Anyway,
tag other people and stuff in there too, and anybody that's in there already, and I'll be tagging people and stuff. If you're in there and you want to engage with me some more, just speak, and I don't be engaging with you because I tag some people. Just engage with me more. If I start noticing you more and getting a vibe for how you are, then I will start sending you things.
see,
Because forget him.
I reacted to some. I put a heart emoji. I put a laughing emoji.
I give it to you. When I put serious stuff in there, you will put a heart or you'll repost it or something like that. Like you will engage with serious things. But like Jesus Christ.
So here's another one. One of my friends, I think there were multiple people, but just one recently. When I go on TikTok, I don't like videos as a general matter. I save some stuff if we're going to review it on the channel, for example. But as a general matter, I scroll and I don't like and I don't save and I don't comment. Like I'm kind of just ghost watching. My friend wants me to like their
Why are you laughing? Because you know
to
you
like their
wrong.
And I feel like this is not what I do on TikTok as a general matter. And it feels like I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. And
Why don't let's engage with that? Why don't you?
like so for let me see. Long silence.
You're supposed to be in, and that's how it be in the Discord.
Well, it is 10:45. It's looking about time.
Ooh,
It's about that time.
See this, and let this be a lesson to you, ladies. This is an emotionally unavailable
Well, they don't. I
male.
don't. Okay, I don't want them to like my stuff just to like it. Like I actually don't.
So you say you don't like their stuff? That's what I heard.
I feel indifferent.
That's what I heard.
I feel indifferent if I post content and my friends don't like it. I feel indifferent if they don't like my Instagram post.
Well, I'm hearing is you don't like their content.
What I just said was this is not a requirement.
You said I heard what you said, and I also heard what you didn't say.
I don't understand the attachment.
I heard the implied meaning of what you didn't say.
I don't understand the attachment to that like because I don't have it myself. What do you mean you're upset I didn't like the post?
Because they support. I'll be honest with you. Listen, I'm not going to get on a high horse. I don't like all of my friends' stuff. But some stuff I will like if it's just like them being whatever. Because, every person that's a friend with somebody don't have the exact same thoughts about every single thing, right? However, if I see them and they're just being silly or, just part of the stuff that I like about them as a person, I will like their stuff. But it sounds to me like you're not liking anything, and that is the
Well, if that ain't the deadbeat calling the absent,
I am not a deadbeat. I am very active. I'm up to date with everybody's going on.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, you said the phone works both ways, huh? You ain't a deadbeat.
I'm not a deadbeat.
Well, they never asked me to reach out.
I'm not a deadbeat. I'm an authentic engager, yes, but I am not a deadbeat.
Underwater dish technician at multi-billion-dollar restaurant. A dishwasher at McDonald's. Got it. I understand what you're saying. I understand the language.
But I do remember, I don't know when it was, but I noticed you had liked something of mine within the last couple of months. I was like, oh my God, Patty. So I knew you really had to like it. I was like, oh.
Now, how do you think I feel when my friends send me 50 things on TikTok and Instagram to like, and I send one thing every 3 years?
I used to send you stuff on Instagram, and it's been dead over there. I was just like, oh, okay. I see how this go. I'll never send you nothing again. I sent you maybe like 3 things on Instagram, and I was like, okay, he's just not engaging.
But don't we feel like kind of the quantity? If my friends are sending me 99 things on, I had a friend who sent me 99 things on TikTok in my DMs before I could open it, like different TikToks, different stuff.
You know what bothers me? What bothers me is like, because I get it, it can be overwhelming when you got a bunch of stuff and then you're just like not inclined to open it. I'm like that with honestly, I'm like that with my real phone. Like I may see somebody texting me or calling me and I'm just like, I have to get back to them when I can handle it, right? But when it comes to social media, I take social media DMs very, very seriously. But when I have a friend and I'm like sending all this stuff that I know that they would love if they would just watch it and they don't watch it, but then they send me stuff. And I'm just like, how does that work where you're like actively ignoring you? I know you see all this stuff that's in this DM, but you still think you will send me something. And I'll be watching it too.
Now, if I sent people stuff with the expectation that they watch it, like it, engage with it, and I didn't do it myself, I would understand. But I send absolutely nothing ever. How many links?
That is accurate. I can confirm that it is not. I don't feel like it's personal, and it is consistent. So anybody that's thinking it's just them, I don't think it's just you, and it is consistent.
I don't know why I'm like that. Oh, I do have an avoidant attachment style. Unfortunately, my therapist did make a sort of a categorization of.
I do too, but like, I just enjoy social media. I just think it's something fun. That's where I'm just kind of like, this is fun. Why are you being avoidant with this thing that, you're right, isn't that big of a deal? But then it also starts to feel a little like personal or whatever, but it's just like, what's going on?
It could be the schizophrenia too. Who said that? I'm just playing. Don't we feel like the quantity sort of
There is no quantity with you. There's no quantity. That's not an accurate word to use.
So me and this is like probably not good to admit publicly. My family and I do not talk as a general matter very often. Like we kind of got it every 6 months and then holidays thing going on. So like with my sisters, who I have a lot of, if y'all remember, like 32, it'll be like Christmas and there will be a Merry Christmas, and that will be our interaction for the year. I feel as though when I reach out to my family, they take it as a very important matter because it's not something I do as a general matter.
You talk about social media, they take it as an important matter?
No, my actual in-person family.
No, I'm saying, like, what do you mean interacting with them on just like the phone through messages and calls, or on social media?
Like reach out and be like, hello sister, how are you? Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Right.
Or call. Let's say calling, talking, or texting outside of holiday as a general matter. Just mundane day-to-day conversation.
Okay.
So I feel that when I reach out, this grabs attention in a way that you cannot grab attention if I'm sending 50 memes.
I think
with the expectation that you sorry, that's my thinking noise now. It helps me. It helps me form the thought.
Well, quick question. How do you find these things that you eventually bring to your live streams?
Sometimes I doom scroll on TikTok. I don't know if I said this publicly, but I was diagnosed with ADHD fairly recently, not like yesterday, but I'd say pretty recently, and started taking ADHD meds, and they have me so focused, but I can't control what the focus is on. So it's supposed to help with like reduce procrastination, do my chores, make sure I'm being efficient at work. But if I start staring at TikTok, I focus on it so intensely that I've doom scrolled for hours. And when I'm scrolling on TikTok or YouTube or anywhere where the purpose of these companies is to get clicks and to get engagement and to get views, they're going to send inflammatory stuff to your feed. And then I'm gonna find somebody dragging this black woman and we're gonna talk about it. Or I'm gonna find a man talking about why we need to go overseas with our passports and go and find a foreign. Like, I'm going to find something inflammatory in that 3-hour doom scroll.
I mean, here's the thing, and I want to be clear. This is not me advocating for like wasting a bunch of hours on social media. Because you're absolutely right. And I would say like, oh, well, you can curate your feed, but again, that takes hours and hours of, filtering that stuff, seeing that stuff, and actively being aware and like hitting do not recommend or blocking, or I do a lot of that.
No,
so
I want the smoke. I want it.
Well, what I was saying was, even in that time that but you're saying it's involuntary. I'm saying, like, if you're already scrolling and you see like that notification of like, oh, I have this meme here, or this person sent me this, like in that moment you could just go check it out and go, hey, ha ha ha, like.
I'm so particular. I'm scrolling and my friend sent me a message. Let me go ahead and open it. And then it's like 2 messages and they sent another one. I'm like, okay, well now I'm not going to.
Yeah, it
Now,
does.
why would you overwhelm me?
I'm guilty of that. Like I couldn't, but I see so many things that remind me of people, and I'll just be like, "Oh, I know they'll love this type of thing." So it's like I get it. I'm really just busting your chops mainly about the Discord thing, but no, I get it. I mean, and realistically speaking, like we all have real stuff we need to be doing. But I would say, like, just throw them a bone every now and then. You know what I mean? Like, just go in and like 1 or 2.
I can't. I scroll TikTok and then when it gets boring, I'm like, let me get to work. Well, let me see what's on Facebook Reels first, because sometimes Facebook Reels will be different. So let me get on there.
Why are you on Facebook? Oh, you really like mess if you're on Facebook. I avoid Facebook like the plague because every time
Facebook
I go
Reels
on there, it's like
it get boring quick for me.
Facebook is like Adult Swim of social media. It's just so random and like kind of sinister.
It's not. It doesn't give the same for TikTok. I get on and scroll through 3 videos and I get right to work. I'm like, all right, it ain't,
on
it ain't nothing going
Facebook is your way to break the spell.
So then I get right to work and wait, I didn't check YouTube. Let me go ahead to YouTube Shorts. There might be some stuff on there. And then at some point I decide, okay, let me see. I have a bunch of YouTube videos in my watch list. Let me just put on a long form. Let me do a video essay and put my earbud in while I work. And that's supposed to help, but then like the way I pause the video on here whenever they say something is actually what I do in real life. Like I will pause the YouTube video while I'm at work doing my work with the earbud in my ear, and I will start being like, nah, see what he said was wrong there because he's relying on it in a soup shoot. Like I actually do this in real, like talking to myself in person. I'm gonna go ahead and stop giving info about what I do because I feel like it's not painting a good picture about me. So that's what I'm gonna
You're
do.
not singularly flawed in that way. Like a lot of people, honestly, I need to go get tested because I feel like I probably got a touch of the autism or something. I don't know, ADHD, something. But also, I don't even think it's just a natural thing. I think we're all developing it because of social media and the practices and the way it all works. So, yeah.
What's wrong with Adult Swim? That's what I'm trying. That's how I'm still on. I'm trying to figure out what's it.
I'm not talking about Adult Swim as a whole, but every now and then. Did you ever see Too Many Cooks?
No, I wasn't that deep in the trenches.
I'm talking about like Too Many Cooks level of like, okay, it goes from just being kind of like ha 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 to I'm scared, but I can't fully put my finger on why.
I've never heard of that phrase. Too Many Cooks.
Too Many Cooks was like a segment or a skit or a video. I don't know what to call it. Look it up. It's still around. You'll understand what I'm talking about. It's just like stuff I see on there just be I don't even know.
Okay, I'll add it to my watch later. We're gonna get there and give me 6 days. I'm gonna watch it for sure.
Yeah, right. I'll see you next April.
April. That was a while. Like March at the latest.
Go in the Discord right now. I don't even know, but go in the Discord right now and look and see when's the last time you said anything.
I did. I'm ashamed to it.
And then when you do that, look and see when's the last time you and I have interacted.
I'm ashamed to admit this, but I will because transparency is important. When you said what you said, I went to the Discord, I scrolled up, and I start putting reactions on everything retroactively, and I was gonna weaponize. I was gonna say, if you had just went and looked, you would see I did react. But I don't think I'm gonna
look
do
at this manipulation.
I think that would be weird. So
in production, Inquiry said you want us to send you some stuff. That's why I'll be sending them stuff. Production, like I don't send them every single thing. I'll send them like, oh, this might, spark something. Nothing. He don't pay no mind.
And y'all don't do stuff like y'all don't go in the voice.
It is not up to us to entertain you, Petty.
Y'all are not entertaining me.
You're supposed to entertain
a community.
You're supposed to entertain us.
How much in the Discord have we talked about having a movie night? Let's go and watch some terrible movies. This does not require me for a movie night. Does not require me to procure things. If y'all
Why
have
doesn't it?
terrible
Is
movies,
Petty presents whatever.
why do I have to be the one playing Tubi?
Because it's your cartoon face in the circle.
Social engineer. I'm gonna use that one on my resume for the next job. My job
Exactly.
actually, I'm
Hey
somewhat of a
there.
social engineer.
Exactly. Hey, you there. Petty literally just said he ignores what y'all give him in the left. They get distracted on Facebook.
Fine, I'll go through what they say. I'll go through it. Understood. I understand this call out.
The time is now. Anarchy.
I accept the critique and that I was wrong. I'm messing my friend replying to a video she sent a couple weeks ago, and she said, "Boy, ain't nobody." Well, I'm done with now. I don't. The
So you
moment's
got cussed
gone.
out because you play the people faces.
I don't want to talk about Southern fried rice anymore. The moment's gone. Why are you responding now? It's been so long. I just think it's crazy how she portrayed black people in that. It just seems a little racist.
So you know what really be pissing me off? When they come back, is it like I said, they'll send me something even though they haven't acknowledged nothing, and it's something that I sent them.
I'm gone. Not the same black man. Not wealth. Understood. Thank you for joining FKK Cop. FCOP. 23101. I do appreciate your presence. Please do leave a like on your way out. We got up to 67 likes. I'm content with that. 62 watching, 67 likes. I do appreciate that. Thank you all. I accept the call out. I'll take that. Because now my family, friends, and channel.
On his neck because I can't do it alone.
I think it's because I said I doom scroll. So you are there and you just ignoring it is what y'all heard when I said I doom scroll all day and don't watch the other
ain't
stuff.
Scrolling on the stuff people send you.
Understood. Watch this Discord light up over the next week. It's
Ooh,
already.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Let me just say, by the way, the link to the Discord is in the description on this video and on all my videos, and I think on the channel if you guys want to join the
Don't
Discord.
be inviting people in there if you're not going to entertain them.
It is free. In the Discord,
You
despite
get what you pay for, people. Remember that.
Despite what Vitamin is saying, the Discord is popping. It is jumping off all the time. We be discussing politics, hip hop culture. Pop culture. We be having all types of things in the Discord. We be watching movies every night, pirating. No, I'm just playing. We don't do that. But yeah, it is hot. It is jumping. It is popping, y'all, in there. But I will take this advice, and we will get it even more popping. But yeah, I will advertise the Discord. It is very jumping. Now, why people join and just don't say nothing? Let's actually talk about it.
What did you play? Like some of those affirmations.
Because
a daily affirmation.
When you say I have to lead the charge, what I hear is I'm actually not interested in any of the many black women in this Discord and what they have to say in responding to.
Oh, no. We have our own conversations. We be talking again. Go back in there and scroll.
So when you say conversation, you mean somebody sends something, one person reply, and then that's it. And then next week somebody sends something. Is that what we mean? When we say conversation, I want to make sure we're on the same page. Never mind. I'm not about to talk about Discord.
They doing more than you. You trying to have black women labor for you. Look at this.
Excuse me. I'm trying to have black women look out for other black women. That's who should be. That's the voices that should be amplified in that Discord. IMO. But I do take the critique. We can get more active in the Discord. I was going to do a movie night tonight after the stream, but I didn't. It went over 30 minutes. It looks like we're at 33 minutes and 42 seconds.
Why do you tell them lies?
So unfortunately, we did go a little bit over our 30-minute mark. I do apologize. I do apologize for that, everyone. This isn't something that usually happens to me, so it's kind of taking me like for a surprise. But we are actually at 33 minutes and 59 seconds, so we are about 4 minutes over. Won't happen again ever. And you can take my word. One thing I don't play about is my word. It means something. That's what that is.
Good night.
Okay, I take the critique. Yeah, I hear the critique. Please keep levying it. I'm not about to silence anybody. I hear the critique. I accept it, and the change is coming tonight. Tonight. Well, if I just go in there and respond to everything tonight, that would look weird. If y'all just see me like 15 messages, great way. Really like
Ignore
this.
the
Oh, that was very
compulsory
exciting. Like that
engagement.
would be, but understand. Or you're
All
just
right. Well, I'm
it takes you to a
gonna
404 error. Hold up. Huh? What'd you say? Sorry.
go.
Okay.
I guess so. Should I expect you in the springtime sometime?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay. Well, happy holiday. Good night to you. Thanks for hearing me out.
Happy holidays, Vitamin. Happy holidays, everyone. Not the men. Sounding like the men's, the same black man. Welfare took me out. I see all these comments, and it has traumatized me in a way where the behavior has to change. Understood. I'll make sure not to swallow up your expectations, and I will take them to heart, even though only 69.5% of you are subscribed and 30.5% of you are not subscribed. Understood. Have a good night. Enjoy your day of work tomorrow. Unfortunately, oh, they're the police again. Oh my God, they're coming for me. They know about the Discord and how I'm not in there as much, and they're actually coming to do something about, I don't know. Anyway, enough of that bit. Good night. Have a good night. I'll give you some outro.
I couldn't sleep at 8 p.m. and send a text to your DM.